So, welcome, you utter wrong-uns. We'll give everyone a couple of minutes to get their feet under the table. Nikki Watson, evening all. Evening, Nikki. Claire Bruce, hi all. Hello, Claire. Wrong-un. Adi Blackmore's been having a full-blown conversation about playing his guitar, and I could write a song called The Battenberger Blues. Go for it, Adi. That'd be too funny, but go for it. Somebody else said, put the Battenberg down, get live. You're wrong. Can't remember who that was. Simon John Lavender. Simon. Evening, Adrian. Evening, Simon. Tucker 69. Evening, you. Wrong. And Seamoon Maria. Hello, Adrian. Hello, Seamoon. Mr. John Up. Good evening, Adrian, and all you YouTubers. Had a lovely day today here in Cardiff, this Armistice Day. Thankfully, everyone behaved themselves, although the police were out in numbers. They were out all over the place. This sceptred Isle wide. I think everybody... I'm going to get into everything in a moment. So rather than kind of go off half-cocked, not first. Dave Bevan. Evening, Mr. Allen. Evening, David. Wiggy Videos. Evening, Adrian. When's video 2 out? To what? The Middle East? That was 3 bits in one video, you're wrongin'. Mad Matt UK. Evening, Adrian. I hope you're well. Enjoying the hibiscus. Yeah, it helps with me blood sugars. More about that later. And Leeds. Evening, Adrian. How'd you get on yesterday, Leeds? Have you played this weekend? Let me tell you. I thought Sunderland were doing all right. But we ended up with a win, 3-1. Where did that come from? Wiki Videos. I was looking forward to more. Damn it. Well, you never know. I'm keeping me powder dry, as the saying goes. So I might just have more. But I hope you enjoyed the explanation of the Middle East, because it's that kind of information is not readily out there at all. Adi Blackmore, great win for the Borough. Borough. Borough's doing well, as are Leeds. Beat Plymouth 2-1 yesterday. Sunderland 6th. I mean, I tell you, the Championship is a tougher league than the Premiership this year. Premiership's got all the fancy downs at the top. Newcastle got beat. The Geordies will kick off now. Dean Wilson, hi, don't hold back. There was a song by Chanson, 1979, red vinyl 12-inch. It's don't hold back. If it feels good, do it. They were the opening lyrics. I've no idea what they were talking about. And on the Zetland FM show yesterday, I played music, Push, Push in the Bush. Again, I literally have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, right. Sandra Witham, hi from Sheffield, up the Blades. Oh, Sheffield United, Sandra. I used to, call blimey, what's the radio station? Hallam. I broadcast for Hallam FM at one point. Blimey, was that a betting scam? Chelsea 4, Man City 4? Bet you couldn't predict that one, Norman Taylor. And LCG, this old girl will come back when you stop talk. LC. And welcome to the body of the Kirk. Sam Finch. Hey, Adrian, hope you do well. And hey, everyone in the chat. Hello. Chasing 28 Smith 12. McClue's Pies. Dinky and Do. Andy Sinsky. Sorry, Adrian, I'm working. We'll watch you in catch up. Have a great show. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Mr. John Up. Talking with Adi Blackmore in the chat. Adi says, I'm here playing, having a strum. You and the wife, Adi. I'm strumming me guitar, London calling. I thought you were playing Rock the Casbah, Adi. Mr. John Up says, great band, The Clash. And a great tune too, Adi. I strum a bit myself. Do you know, we can get ourselves into so much trouble. Give us a clue. Adrian, I have some history of working with AB. What's the best email address to contact you on? He stalked me for 3 years. No way. Give us a clue. It's joustingarena@gmail.com. That's the email associated with this channel. joustingarena lowercase, all one word, at gmail.com. Yeah, Adie's been learning Rock the Casbah and Rusty Mouse. Ever the insightful. Evening, wrong'un. Get your tea ready. Blimey, we're cranking up tonight. Gives a clue. Thanks, we'll drop you a line. Cheers, gives a clue. Adie Blackmore, back in the 90s, I met Sean Bean at a footy game. Hung like a horse, seemingly. Did I say that out loud? I'm not monetising this, I can get away with murder. Rusty Mouse, and your lights and your speakers. We don't want to be seeing too much left ear. The image is stamped on my brain. Sorry, Rusty Mouse. I'll do my best, but this is my best side. See what I mean? Andrew James, got your big mug in hand ready, Adrian? I am always happy to have it in hand. Me tea? You're wrong. What are you talking about? Me tea? Hayden, greens. I could have sworn there was a Hayden. I saw something online somewhere on YouTube, and there was a Hayden ripping into somebody. It wasn't you, Hayden, was it? It was brilliant. I mean, it was sharp and brilliant. I thought, could be Hayden that comes on the chat on the chat. Leeds, where's the Macham's mug? It's in cotton wool downstairs in the cupboard, so it doesn't get broke. It's the only one I've got. Gives a clue at Pink Roses. I don't know who you are, friend or foe. Gives a clue. Don't respond to Pink Roses. Journalist looking for Alex Belfield information for a book. Isn't that right, Pink Roses? Because seemingly, anybody that I tell, well, there's my email, people get in touch all the time. Pink Roses, email me. Otherwise, I'm going to think you're an utter wrong'un. Paul James, what are you doing in Norway, man? Is it cold? Love it cold. Colder the better. I've got to tell you the new Mrs. Allen. Oh, is it just... Forgive me, this is not being sexist or a misogynist at all, but I like women's dermis a bit thinner than men's. Because honestly, when I go skiing, I could happily walk about in a thong and not feel the cold. Yet, the new Mrs. Allen, needs about 20 layers. So I'm in she won't come in what I call loosely my office. She won't ever come in because I've got the window open and it's like icy outside. So I'm not coming in there. I'm not. And it, that means she's not bringing me any tea. That's why I'm making my own. But women in the cold, is it because we men are just like dim and thick? Thick's good, so I'm told. What do you mean? Rusty Mouse, yeah, with 10 tea bag strings. Just one. And I'm running out of hibiscus tea, man. I think I'm going to run out the next couple of Lauren Taylor. Oh, you're wrong'un. Thong, good God, spare us. All right, Lauren. Gives a clue. Is Mrs. Allen a Southern softie? She don't drink shandies, that's for certain. Carl Bassett. Oh, Adrian, you're wrong'un. Nice to see you back safe from yesterday's march. Carl and Irene. Carl, thank you very much. I'm going to explain what I decided to do yesterday. For very obvious reasons. So if I just so I can take a slurp, people have had enough time to get their feet under the table. By the way, smash the like if you can. Because we've got lots to talk about tonight. Firstly, there's it's X. Now, anybody that mentions X has to say, straight afterwards, formerly known as Twitter, the profile on there is at Adrian Allen. So I'm trying to get up to 500. So if anybody is there, I'm going to start interacting with humanity a lot more readily via X, formerly known as Twitter. Oh, how long have we got to say that for, man? So it's at Adrian Allen. All one word, my full name. Peter Aaron, Adrian in the thong, nightmare fuel. Keeps me awake at night. I'm just flinging you comedy gold and you're just taking it. Yeah, utter wrong'uns. Andy Turner, Andrew James, yeah, strange guy. Who? You taking the mickey again? Tommy Vance, the bloke who wore sunglasses indoors and looked like a roadie for a club band. interesting. I know stuff about Tommy. I'm trying to remember what the full story is, but I will remember it. Albert Metcalf, Ari, bonny lad. Yeah, utter wrongin'. Mags lost yesterday. So tonight we're going to be talking about yesterday and today, because it became a thing. It became a thing. I know some of the other YouTubers. Was it the Reverend? He complained he spent 120 quid to go to a march where now it happened. So for days, rock on. For days, seemed like a nice guy. They all do, Andy. Trust me. Adrian, are you getting sick of Braverman auditioning to be Tory leader? No, GB Patriot. I think it's as funny as. It's as funny as. No, she's married to a Jew. Rich boy sunk isn't. So for a couple of days, I talked to some of my trusted generals, and I got some inside information. And I said, why does Rishi Sunak always have really short trousers? He was wearing a red tie today. What was that? Somebody want to tell him. I mean, he's not from round here. He was a non-dom with his missus in California for a while. So somebody needs to tell him he's only been around for 3 or 4 years. Black tie. Yeah, utter tart. So I talked with my trusted generals, and I thought, look, if I go yesterday, what's going to happen? I can't march with the pro-Palestinians, because that would be a lack of integrity. I can't really go with the right-wing EDL and stuff, because there's something going on in the background that, well, that would compromise. So, and I will tell you eventually. But I just thought, who would I march with? Because have you noticed the way that the mainstream media is going? It's like, oh, you're either that side or you're that side. You can't be in the middle. No, you can't be a peacenik. They went with the ark. They went out with the ark in the 60s. Peaceniks, you know. Honestly, this hibiscus tea is fabulous. So I spoke with my trusted generals, who said to me, they told me what was in place. They told me there was a Section 60 in place, which is police parlance for nobody's going anywhere where we don't want them. There was a kettling order in place, so I'm told by impeccable sources. So I just thought, do you know, what happens if I go into town and I end up getting into the wrong place? Because I know London quite well, having worked for LBC for a fair few years and having lived in London a couple of times. I thought, what's going to happen? And I just thought, I'll guarantee you, now it's going to go on. Now, I don't know whether you can remember where I went up to Nottingham Crown Court for someone was in court. So I went up there, booked into a hotel, down there, hotel, stuff, get a call the night before. It's not happening tomorrow. So that was kind of in the back of my mind. Am I going? And I knew where the march was going. I knew it was going to start at Marble Arch. I know Marble Arch because I used to work for Liberty 963 when it was part of the same building of Jazz FM on the Edgware Road. And Marble Arch is just down the bottom. So I thought, I kind of know it. They're going to go across, I think was it Victoria? They were going to go across the bridge over to the US Embassy. And I knew that there was a Section 60 put in place Friday night. Nobody could go anywhere near the US Embassy. Nobody could go anywhere near the Israeli Embassy. And nobody could go anywhere near the cenotaph. And a Section 60 is, look, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're just getting lifted. Sorry, mate, you're getting lifted. You just walked into the wrong place. And I just figured there was going to be some kind of kettling going on. Thankfully, there wasn't a million people there. And I wasn't there either. Because I just thought, I'm not wasting a whole day. I've stuff where I've got to prioritise certain things. And I just know it's not going to go the way that the press are whipping it up. I mean, can you imagine if it had proper kicked off? It kicked off between some soccer fans and the police. So that was a setup. And then the pro plasticine people, just in case the algorithm's working, I just knew that they were going to get very silly. They weren't going to get violent because they never do. They've got no backbone, got no spine. Because here's the deal. Stop marching in London if there's stuff going on in the Gaza Strip. Why don't you pack your bags, courage of your convictions, and go over to Gaza and fight the Israelis? Because that's what you're talking about. And then I've seen utter scum shouting stuff, which I won't repeat on here, but absolutely offensive to anybody and everybody. And where are they? I looked at the stats for yesterday. Yesterday, not today, yesterday. And there was only 2 people arrested that were from London. Everybody else was from out of town. Now, what? Oh, pink roses don't take that tone, I say. Well, reveal yourself to me then, and we'll have a cordial conversation. But I'm not as stupid as you think I look. So, yesterday was yesterday. Not much went on. But I will tell you this. It is illegal to carry flares on the streets of this country. So what did the Wibbly Wobblies, the Met Police, what did they do about the pro-plastic people who were carrying flares yesterday? Naff all. Naff all. I live in Fallujah, before you ask. So, the Met, although they got some things right, they got some things very, very wrong. There's pictures everywhere of the pro-plastic people walking about with flares and letting them off. It's against the law. So what did the Met Police do about it? Oh, let's have a think for a millisecond. Begins with F. The second one's all. Nigel Gate, Child Block Tracy. Nigel the Garage is rumored to be getting $1.5 million according to today's Sunday Sun. So let's talk about today. Because I did make some notes. I don't know what I've done with them. I've probably chucked them. But I thought that, is it me? Or does Charlie look like a weak king? Does he, I mean, how here, Charles? Get a bit of backbone, man. You're in charge now. You're not the Prince of Wales. You can't go, driving around in your Aston Martin. Oh, you tart. You can't go driving around in your Aston Martin being all cordial to folk now. To make an omelette, you've got to crack some eggs. How here, Charles? Get in charge. Get a grip. Pete H, where's Mrs. Allen? I don't know. She told me she was leaving me. So, don't know when she'll be back. I didn't say that before she slaps me. GB Patriot, Met Police needs breaking up, and I reckon Charlie's ill. So 2 points there, GB Patriot. I think Charlie is quite ill. He's 75 on Tuesday. 75. So what's he going to do for his 75th birthday? This is Mr. Chuckle Brother. What's he going to do for his birthday? He's going to go to a food bank. What? A food bank. King's birthday. King's birthday. I mean, leader of the Western world. Forget Trump and the Americans. One of the oldest bloodlines on planet Earth, and he's going to a food bank. He's going to celebrate at a food bank. Is that Food Bank of England? Bank? Or is that Buckingham Palace, which may as well have a bank? It's going to have his face all over the money. And then, I mean, Buckingham Palace, he's going to get the best food there, isn't he? Or is he going to the Bank of Dad? The Food Bank of Dad. That's where Harry might be begging at, because seemingly Harry's 28 mil in the red, 28 million in debt. That's come out of Yahoo News over the weekend. 28 million in debt. Harry, man, what the bloody hell are you, sir? I thought she was for free. Don't know what you're spending money on. Is it her clothes or something? Charlie's fingers are chubby. Looks like a heart failure to me. GB Patriot. I thought that would be the ankles, because my dad his heart wasn't very well, and eventually went with checked out with heart failure, possibly, or something or other. But he's you can tell, fat leg, but they're under trousers. So I was thinking, because I wanted to tell you that I joined a gym the other day. I mean, a man of my age, a man of my life experience should know better than. I mean, I love it. I've been there this week, and I'm walking around, and I'm not being fattest, but it's chunky people in a gym, quite rightly, because they need to get fit. You don't see any of these roided up muscle Marys, do you? Not the one I go to. And it's not even posh. Well, it's posh enough to be called a James. I'll wait for you. Wiggy videos, Charlie and his hot dog hands. Do you know hot dog is code for something? Hot dog and pizza. Ask his brother Andrew. Yeah, welcome in the body of the Kirk Retro. Good to see you. I've been trying to find your number somewhere so I could catch up with you because it's been far too long, young sir. So if you've still got my number in your phone, give us a text. So I was thinking, should I? And there is a link here to Charlie. There is a link in his well hung fingers. Because I was thinking I'm going to do the Great North Run next September. I've got me entry and everything. And I was going to do the Great North Run in September. I mean, honestly, I should know better. But I've got the entry. I've got a gym. I'll just go and knock my pipe out in the gym for the best part of a year and then give it a go. So if I go with a heart attack next September, it's been lovely knowing you. I shouldn't really say that. I'm nearly finished. It's all right. So I was thinking, Charlie's fat fingers. No wonder Camilla loves them. And I was thinking, should I do the Great North Run next September for charity? And I was thinking, Wiggy, you're utter wrong. You know what YouTube's like with money. And I know other people have said this. I will ask for your time and I will ask for your skills, but I don't want your money. I'm not interested. Some of this is not even monetized because I'm not really interested. But I think it would be all right if I did it for charity and I could. There's various websites you can use to collect and then donate the money, so I don't have any. I don't come into contact with it. And I was thinking, there's one that I've. Cheers, Retro. There's one charity that I've been a fan of for a long, long time. Easily, blimey, when was I doing that? 25 years ago. It's Raynaud's disease or scleroderma, if you wish. It's known as Raynaud's, which is cold hands or cold feet. And I know it affects sort of the older members of the parish, but it does affect some young ones. And I was thinking maybe I should try and raise a bit of money for them because they're only a little charity. Don't think they get that much money, but yeah, Andy, I'm not doing a Band-Aid. Definitely not. Don't call me Bob Geldof. I met him once. God, he's tall. Nuts and bolts is going to press-ups, but not press-ups as we know them. Yeah, I was doing some press-ups the other day, and somebody walked past and went, she went 5 minutes ago. Is that the gag? Nuts and bolts? So, Charlie's fingers, it is a worry. It is a worry. And I thought William looked very together, composed. But you know what else I spotted? Do you know the epaulets that the royal family were wearing on their uniforms? It's got ER on them. Now, does somebody want to tell him? That's Elizabeth Regina, Queen. She snuffed it. So it should be CR for Charles Regina, Charles King. So somebody have a word with the royal family. They weren't dressed appropriately today. I think Anne's didn't have anything on. I think Charles didn't have anything on, but William's definitely had Elizabeth Regina, ER. I concur with Tower Block Tracy Retro. That's why I'll speak to you later. So I thought today was somber, solemn, and respectful. I think reflecting on the great sacrifice that others have made today was appropriate. It was all proportional and appropriate. I even watched, sometimes it feels like I'm banging the BBC. There is a gag in there. I'm not going to go for that one. But it's the BBC are the national broadcaster. So they should get the zeitgeist. They should get what everybody is thinking. And they don't. Sometimes they drop an utter massive spherical. They don't get it. I mean, I don't know whether it's, you know, the tarts at the top are going, oh, no, can't do that. No, back at them. Well, knowing the BBC, they probably would. But, so, like, the royal family did their bit. And I was watching it on the Beeb for no other reason than it was the Beeb. And then they cut to the weather. And I was like, I know what the weather is. I'm watching them on the telly. So if it starts raining, I know it's raining. If the sun comes out, I know it's sunny. Well, what are you doing, man? And they cut away. And then none. I was like, oh, I'm not going hunting for this. So I went across to Sky. Oh, there's Sky. Got the zeitgeist. They got it. There they are, continuing. And I just thought, you know, the BBC were not interested in Laura Koonsberg. We're not interested in all those bought and paid for journalists, who just don't give us the truth. We're not interested in them. Give us something that our papers can see. And did they? My hairy backside. Somebody will probably make a deep fake of that. Call me Sadiq Khan. So I thought the whole weekend was a damp squib, thankfully. I thought the press were whipping it up. The press are trying a pile-on with Suella. I think there's a fight going on for the heart and soul of the Tory party. The blonde... will somebody just have a word? Like a comb, it'll cost him 50p. Just keep it in your pocket, Boris. We are talking about pictures that go worldwide. And the blonde buffoon, he's like, I don't know whether he stuck his fingers in a 240-volt socket before he walked out, but but Jesus, Boris, man, this is representing the UK, the United Kingdom, the Great Britain, and you can't comb your hair. Thick tart. I just looked at him and laughed, and I thought, he wants to be Prime Minister again. Ain't happening. And he's not getting in the House of Lords, not for a while. I think his daughter's in there. What do you mean, Adrian? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm delirious. Oh, Peter, what's the children's hospice? And where is it? Because I'm happy to donate to a children's hospice, definitely. No, Retro, what's that? Did you hear about the 2 ships off Germany? Loss of life, I heard, very sad. No, can you give me a bit more information, Retro? So if you, and I know I go on about on my lives about keep an eye on these dodgy feckers in the press. Andrew James, a GP Patriot. Not sure if it's just paper talk, but a lot of African communities received very little or nothing at all. Did Michael Burke make anything from Band-Aid? I mean, I know the Kenyans didn't turn up for the cenotaph parade today. Talk of 69, and I was monitoring the press before I came on air. One ship was from the Isle of Man. I'm very sad. I do hope there isn't any loss of life. So these ne'er-do-wells in the mainstream press and the BBC, because they're after Sue Ellen as well, and that was on purpose. Not the BBC, Sue Ellen. She was in Dallas, wasn't she? They're after her because the people that matter, me and you, I heard what she said about stuff, and she was absolutely bob on. Now, I will tell you, I've already told you about the flares and people carrying flares who were part of the 300,000, seemingly. What were they doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? Oh, 1, 2, 3. I got the 300,000 bus. I just think it's all propaganda. All of it. From the press in the 4 days leading up. But what were they diverting us from? Well, I'm going to tell you. I think Suella is right. The Met, double standards. Absolute disgrace. Metropolitan Police, hold your head in shame. I know it's a tough gig. And I know that you deal with some horrendous things on a day-to-day basis. I completely get that. But Islamists and anti-Semites have been given far more license than any other group of protesters. While it is true that practically everything the UK Home Secretary says these days brings the liberal establishment out in hives. The reaction to today's comment seems just drama queenery. All Braverman said in her article is that the Metropolitan Police must be even-handed in their approach to the protests. And I don't believe that they were. So, British Transport Police were. British Transport Police have put appeals out on X, formerly known as Twitter, to try and identify certain people. There was one disgusting, odious female. And I don't rise to violence very easily. But what she was saying, she needs jailing for. Because there's a thing called, is it Allport scale? Allport, where it starts with anti-locution. It starts with calling names. It starts with calling a community or an individual. It's in Allport scale. All starts with anti-locution. And that woman was guilty of it. And then there was another woman holding a placard up, which was just unnecessary. I mean, I was in York and the Labour Party were demonstrating, thick tarts. They were demonstrating about racism. They were demonstrating because they said Donald Trump was a racist. And I went to the front of the march before it kicked off and I said, wait, you bunch of anti-Semite, caring, understanding 90s type. But I kind of abbreviated that particular acronym. Oh, he's racist. And you're an anti-Semites. Golf. Or Foxtrot Oscar, as it's commonly known. And there's a video which I'm trying to get so I can sort of rebroadcast it here. And it's one guy, silent, not saying anything, white guy, possibly indigenous of these islands. So he holds his placard up. And it says on the front of the placard, Hamas, ISIS. That's all it said. And then the other party, 20 of them, trying to take the placard off him. Fair numbers in that. One man with one placard, silent protest, and 20 of yous decided to have a go, trying to get the placard off him, didn't manage it. But they were all, that's common assault, mate. That's common assault. So, hey, Met, police, hey, what you doing about the video with a crime on it? Tell you what you're doing. Naffle. Because the woke idiot at the top, yeah, we policed it appropriately and proportionately. No, you didn't. You allowed criminality to exist on the streets of this country when you knew that criminality was going to happen. And Suella told you, you thick tarts, days ago. And what did you do? Well, I don't, I'm worried about my pension. I know how tough your job is, but you didn't do it very well yesterday. You were taking instructions from the top. Go woke, go broke. I know loads of cops that have left forces because they've had enough. They've had enough of what they have to do because of the woke idiots at the top. I mean, I can tell you about senior officers that were on an operation in a particular part of this country and they were monitoring brothels. And the man that was the head of, he was a chief superintendent. Now, that's as far up the food chain as you're going to go, unless you get into the politics of things, at the very top. And what did he do? He went to have a dance with one of the ladies that they were monitoring in the brothel in the area. And his cops watched him go in. He used a cop car and he went to the place to have a dance. I mean, how bright do you have to be? This is what we're dealing with. Unless you're talking about a 3-foot copper. How did that work in the press? Somebody's camera lens not working? But I'm telling you, I saw crime yesterday. And what did you do? It's on video. It's everywhere on social media. It's everywhere. Boy was assaulted. Common assault. And the other people, you've got loads of powers to deal with these idiots. What is it? Are all the cells full? It's not unusual on a weekend. How many cells do you think the police have available to arrest people and bang them up? It would make your hair stand on end when you knew, because it ain't that many. Not at all. So the reportage for a few days leading up to, hang on, what's Dame Anna been up to again? Don't let Khan be in charge of London. End of. Mr. John Up, spot on, Dame Anna. I agree. And he's coming out and just saying the most useless things. I've been in his office in London. I believe that mostly, especially BTP, I've got to compliment BTP because they had a real tough gig on their hands. City of Police, where were they? What were they on? Days off? 2,000 cops in the centre of London yesterday. And they still couldn't handle it. I mean, wibbly wobbly what? Go home and polish your Bobby's helmet. I mean, Suella's come out. Look, the whole weekend, I mean, I feel quite uncomfortable with, I get that we are inclusive on this sceptred aisle. We allow people, and we go far too far sometimes, but on a reflective remembrance weekend, we've got bloody fireworks going off. Why? Oh, it's a religious festival, Adrian. Hang on a second. We are in reflective mood and remembrance for those that gave the greatest sacrifice. For me and you, this country. And what are people letting fireworks off for? Here, shove them up your arse. Have some respect for the indigenous population of these islands. Before anybody asks, I've traced, well, on my mum's side, a professional genealogist traced my family lineage back to the Vikings, 700. We kind of wibble wobble between France and here, but you know, there's been kings and queens and lords and ladies and no, I don't know why I got into that line, but I did. And on my dad's side, I've told you we were sheep shaggers and horse thieves in the borders before the Templars turned up. So don't be saying to me, Adrian, you're a bit unfair there, man. No, I'm not. This is our Remembrance weekend. Armistice Day yesterday, and the Commonwealth, we had loads of people from the Commonwealth that also gave their lives. Retro's got a very good point. Fireworks should only be limited to twice a year. November the 5th and New Year's Eve day-ish. So let me give you some a little bit of showbiz news, because as I said, we're going to talk about kind of yesterday and today. ITV are back in the doo-doo. I mean, these people, what have they got for brains? Stupidity. Now, you are going to be punished for your online behaviour. People on this channel, we were talking about this before it was all passed. So I'm going to tell you what's going on. Digital currency? You thought it was just a pipe dream. It's on its way. I've got the evidence. Who's paying Jeffrey Epstein's victims off? It'll be a sharp intake of breath when you find out, because I'm going to tell you. And the Crown's about to launch, is it this Thursday? Oh, Diana. Oh, I mean, I can't wait. I will take one for the team and I'll watch it as quick as possible. Because remember, I was working for Mohammed Al-Fayed at his radio station Liberty 963 on the Brompton Road, opposite Harrods, when she was murdered. And nobody will tell me otherwise. Because I've got a picture of her in the car that they tried to squash at the time. Oh, don't believe the official narrative, man. And it's not because I worked for him, because he was a funny little character. But Dom Wigley lost a brother in Afghan. Total disrespect. Thank you, Dom. Wish you well. Terry Wookfit with special appearance of the ghost of Diana. There, should I say it now? I mean, they're all the people connected with the royal family. Honestly, it's curing their constipation because they go, no, it's just a drama. It's just a drama. Well, why are you getting your knickers in a bunch then? If it's just a drama, let us enjoy it and read between the lines. I'll tell you this story. So 9/11, and it's my experience that I'm relaying to you. So 9/11, the radio station says, oh, Adrian, we're not sure if, because I was doing late night phoning in South Wales, across the whole of South Wales. It was #1 in the market and doing great guns. And GB Patriot, I'm very well aware of the Keith Allen thing. Very well aware. I've seen it. So on 9/11, the boss of the radio station comes to me and he goes, Adrian, not sure we can put you on air tonight. So what do you mean? This is history, lads. I was in the gym. David Lloyd's in Cardiff. I was in the gym. And the planes went into the towers, and I said to the lads that I knew at the gym, I said, this is probably going to be one of the most important days in history you've ever experienced. God blimey, I wish I could get the lottery numbers every week. I wish I was that psychic. But, so they were, So I said, well, I'll do a deal with you. I'll watch all the news feeds coming in, because they were coming in from all over the world. All the news feeds that were coming in, newspapers, TV. I'll watch everything, and then we'll make the decision later on. So, camera cuts to George W. Bush. And the reporter says to him, Mr. President, the shooting down of that plane. And I quote, and you won't find this anywhere, because my eyes seen it, my ears heard it, and this is before AI and deep fakes. The President of the United States of America said, the shooting down of that plane is the most difficult decision I've had to take as president. Leave that with you. Because that makes a mockery of the official narrative, doesn't it? So, I'm seeing a news editor of a radio station who shall remain nameless, like as in, you know, boy and girl. And I told her the story, and she was like, "Oh, you're talking out your backside. How could you see that and nobody else?" I said, because nobody else has got the kahunas to say it, because they know it would be career suicide. You're talking out your backside. Talking out your backside. Anyway, there was then, I was seeing her for about a year or so, and near the end of it, the BBC did a docudrama about 9/11. And they got, George W. Bush was at the school, and then you got everybody that was in the White House, in the bunker, because they thought the White House was being attacked. And do you know that they've got rocket launchers on the top of the White House? Nobody talks about this. But at the time, it was everywhere. So White House has got rocket launchers, and they armed the rocket launchers because they thought they were under attack. There was the attack of the two towers, then there was the attack of the other planes at one of the military installations. And I told her all this. I told her what I knew. And I know a lot more than that I'm letting on tonight. She was like, "Hey, talking out your ass. Talking out your ass." So I was like, "Oh, okay, no problem." Pentagon, Togger 69. And I want a plane, Togger 69. That's why they only gave you a couple of frames so that you could see nothing. And this is from the petrol station across the road, gas station across the road. So they give you one frame, and then they miss one frame out, and then they give you another one where it explodes. It's like, hang on a second. That's not a plane. That's a missile. And yet when the press tell you, oh, it was a plane. It was a plane. Honest, it was a plane. These saw a missile. But again, the propaganda out of the mainstream media. So the BBC got what's-his-face, the VP, the Vice President, and Condoleezza Rice, anybody in the bunker. And then there's a piece of this docudrama where George W. Bush calls Dick Cheney and says, you have my authority to shoot down that plane. And the news editor that was sitting next to me said, oh my God, I didn't believe you. I said, I know you didn't. She said, but that means what you told me was true. I said, that's what I told you at the time, but you chose not to believe me. Oh God, I'm really sorry. I said, you can foxtrot Oscar. This relationship's over. What do you mean? I said, well, you didn't believe me, and you believed all the BS in the mainstream media, and I was telling you the truth. And then when the truth hits you in the face like a wet fish, you turn around and say to me, I'm sorry, off. Left her. Walked away and left her. Yeah, we can talk about WTC7. Cool, blimey. It's just like, well, 2 fall down, and then the 3rd fell down, WTC7, fell down in sympathy with the first 2. How does that work then? It was pulled, because that was the command and control centre for the whole kit and caboodle. Nobody tells you that. WTC7, command and control. That's why they had to pull it. Pull it means bring it down. So, I don't know how we got into that. How did we get into that? I thought I was talking about the Crown. Bizarre. Relationships, docudrama, truths. So, I'm going to tell you, around Diana's murder, I'm going to tell you some truths. And you might not remember them, because it was like the last few days. It was anarchy and chaos. It was utter chaos. So, you wouldn't have known what I knew. Magaluf Tracy, yeah, the Loose Change documentary, yeah, remember that. But they didn't get all the information in there. They got some great information in there, but they didn't get it all. And like Diana, I'll watch The Crown to see what they're saying, and I'll be able to read between the lines, because I know what went on. I know what went on. Now, people can turn around to me and say, yes, Adrian, but you were working for Mohammed Al-Fayed, so you're bound to believe him, aren't you? No, I'll believe the truth when I see it and hear it. So I'm going to give you my take. Once The Crown's aired, I'll give you my take. So it might not be, I might have to do a video rather than a live, because I'll do live on Wednesday, then I'm off at a wedding next Sunday. And I think it launches midnight Wednesday into Thursday. So let's get to something that you need to keep your eye on. And I say this all the time, and this is why I bring this information to the lives, because I don't monetize them. And there is a very good reason why I don't monetize them, because I'm just giving you truth, plain and simple. I was going to ask you, who's paying Jeffrey Epstein's victims off? And you're going, whoa, hang on a minute, Adrian. What do you mean? I didn't see that. No, because you were arguing over whether we needed to go to Armistice Day yesterday and Remembrance Sunday today. They got it out. It was a good day for burying bad news. So who do you think it is that's behind this? Well, I'm going to tell you. Bill Gates. Bill Gates' business associates reach a combined $365 million settlement with Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Now, I thought Maxwell House was going to release all the names in a little black book. Remember that? I'm going to start releasing the names. And then, whoa, nothing. Absolutely bog all. That's what they do. So on Thursday, while everybody was arguing and whipping up this this chaos around Suella Braverman, everybody missed it. Well, except me. So on Thursday, a federal judge approved the $290 million settlement of a class action lawsuit brought by the abuse victims of Epstein against J.P. Morgan Chase, a close mutual business associate of both Gates and Epstein. So obviously, they're trying to make it out that Bill Gates has been lovely and in his altruistic nature, he's got a lovely settlement for the victims. But the victims haven't been named so far. So let me tell you, who are the victims? Who brought this about? Why is Bill Gates involved? Out of the goodness of his heart? His multi-billionaire heart? Kidney boy. Thank you for that. That's very interesting. I know, because I worked for Fayed, I know that he only used special forces. He only used very, very capable people, both men and women. But I met him. So why did the bodyguard put his seatbelt on and the principals didn't? We both know. In the security forces and in the personal protection world, you never put your seatbelt on and not have the principals at risk. And you know when they cut the roof off the car? I mean, I'm probably going to get a knock at the door with men in dark glasses at 11 o'clock at night. But I've got the evidence. It's as simple as that. I've got the evidence. Alex Jones and all these people, they came after me. Not as in after me, but subsequent to me. That's why his people on his website used to check out adrianallen.com at the beginning of the noughties. Couldn't believe what I was getting away with. I did. So, who's paying Jeffrey Epstein's victims off? Bill Gates. How many times was he on the Lolita Express then? How many times was he on Epstein's Island? Come on, Bill. You can tell me. I'm just a daft lad getting away with it. What else was I going to tell you about? Oh, yes, I need to tell you about you're going to be punished. Telling you. I mean, look, Frank Boff would have loved it, but you're going to be punished. There's only so many people that get that gag. I don't care. Don't care. OFCOM, the Office of Communications that look after kind of radio stations, I've crossed swords with them. I got away with calling the Pope chief paedophile once. My managing director put the defence in, and he said, oh, Adrian, I don't think we're going to win this. I said, yeah, we are. It's true. Ofcom, the radio authority, sent the reply back going, no, not upheld. Not upheld. What Adrian was saying was fact, true. If I can get time, I mean, GB Patriot, you're teasing me. I know that. If I get time, I will try and make a video with the team that we can publish either as the crown is revealed about what I know about Diana and the stuff that you know that you've forgotten about. So I'll tell you this again, for those that are sort of new to the channel. In London, on a Saturday night, you can pick up, and I love this about London, you can pick the Sunday newspapers up at 9 o'clock on a Saturday. So the early editions, they get sent out via train to all over the UK. They get sent out from central London. I think is it Charing Cross? I'm sure you can buy the Sunday newspapers. Saturday night, Charing Cross. And I have done loads of times. And on the front of those newspapers on the Saturday night and Sunday that Diana was murdered, they, in my view, on the front of it, you know, all the royal family warrants that were on the side of Harrods. So that there was Queen Mum and Philip as the Duke of Edinburgh and the Queen and Prince Charles as the Prince of Wales. So they all had these warrants on the side of Harrods. And there'd been this spat going on. I mean, I don't know who and I don't know why. I can give it a damn good guess, though. They were upset at Fayed and Diana and Dodi. So they were taking away the royal warrants from Harrods. And that was the front page story on all of the Sunday papers the weekend that Diana died. But what went on in Paris superseded all that. But in the radio station, because obviously we had to go in first thing on the Sunday morning. And I went in and saw the newspapers. I've still got them somewhere because I thought, wow, this is history. So there was these front pages. These were the stories that weren't then sent out because the death of Diana or the car crash was the story that hit all the front page. And nobody talked about that. It's just done discreetly and quietly. And Harrods doesn't have the royal warrants. Or at least when Mohammed Al Fayed owned Harrods, they were taken away. They were just quietly and discreetly taken away. And nobody noticed. Nobody. So as I say, I lived as part of history. So I can tell you a truth. I can tell you what happened. I can tell you what happened around Harrods. I can tell you about the books of remembrance. I used to walk into work every single day and see the massive queues of people wanting to write in the books of condolence for Harrods. And I remember the day after the funeral, I went over to Kensington Palace on the Sunday, and what most people would not be able to tell you was the bouquet from the flowers on the breeze. It was very distinctive. And I'm like, wow, the hairs on the back of my neck still stand up thinking about it. But not one reporter, not one news channel, no newspaper actually gave you that bit of information. I was there, right there at the heart of it. But I'm not going to give you what I know until I can make it into a video. Tablock Tracy, Mercedes asked for Di's car on a number of occasions, turned down. Wonder why? Well, it's really odd because they were bomb-proof, those cars, Fayed's cars. They were bomb-proof. And yet it hits a concrete stanchion in an underpass. Bomb-proof. So I'm going to tell you why you're going to be punished. Probably for listening to me. So I'm going to read it out because this is really, really, really important. And this came out on November the 10th. So you have to be aware of this. And please don't think that the clowns in Clown World in the Pink Palace have got your best interests at heart. But your government does love you. Does love you. Go back to sleep while they squander your tax fees. Some services, including WhatsApp, have threatened to withdraw from the UK and protest at the controversial legislation. UK communications regulator OFCOM has published lengthy guidance on policing certain elements of people's online behaviour. Following the introduction of Britain's divisive Online Safety Act legislation last month. It's only just starting to trickle out, and you were warned. You were warned. In a post outlining the initial codes of practice on Thursday, Ofcom said that tech companies, ranging from social media giants to search engines, will be required to assess potentially harmful material accessible through their platforms and to take steps to mitigate any threats discovered. Everything that I have said in this broadcast this evening is in my view. And I have spoken about my personal experience, my personal experiences. just before anybody starts. The Act will also require platforms to scan online content, including end-to-end encrypted text messages services like WhatsApp. What? So the bad people don't get away with it? Honestly, this country's full of muppets. For unlawful material such as child abuse imagery, however, critics of the legislation have said that imposing scanning technology on people's personal correspondence undermines users' privacy rights. Can you imagine if Nora Batty sends you a semi-naked and you're like, hang on, you'll get done. They're going to stop all your fun, man. The fun police. They're not funny. OFCOM is not a censor, the chief executive, Melanie Dawes, said in a statement on Thursday. We don't have powers to take content down, she said, adding that the regulator's mission statement is to tackle the root causes of harm. Well, get on all the scum-sucking pond life, like the guitarist with The who had images on his computer that he shouldn't have, and then said, oh, I was just doing research for my book. That never came out. UK Technology Secretary Michelle Donnellan, meanwhile, said that Ofcom guidance would help in cleaning up the wild, wild west of social media and make the UK the safest place in the world to be online. My hairy backside. The initial guidance, which runs over 1,500 pages, a little light reading for a weekend when you're bored, primarily focuses on protecting young people, of course. Protect young people online from grooming or other forms of harmful activities. But it's still, when they catch one of them, one of the scum-sucking pond life, it's like this moral indignation. Oh, we didn't know Jimmy Savile. Oh, we didn't know Rolf Harris. Oh, we didn't know Gary Glitter. Took his computer to Curry's. It's the only way he got caught out. Or you might find stuff on there that... Another IQ point, that boy would be a lamppost. About 1 in 10 children or young people aged between 11 and 18 have been sent naked or semi-naked images online, Ofcom points out. How do they know that? Are they going to everybody in schools going, have you heard any smutty texts? All the lads in my school would have gone, yeah. Literally, 100% of the lads in my year at school would have gone, yeah, loads. For those of a certain age, Chesty Morgan. I mean, my mates used to bring magazines and all, like their dad's stash into school. Dads didn't know. But we were like, 14 and 15-year-old. And now we've got corn stars that have got iPhones, as in the kids. I dread to think what they're getting up to. I really don't want to know. That's down to the parents to deal with, not me. Among the myriad recommendations made by the watchdog is for platforms to make children's social media profiles more difficult to access by unknown parties. What, like parents? It also recommends that accounts not on a child's friends list be unable to send them direct messages. Oh, come on. The kids are genius, man. They know how to bypass everything. I mean, I'm not... Well, for those that have been with the channel a little while, tech issues every time I did a live, but I'm not that bad with technical stuff. But listen, kids that would be my grandchildren's age, they're like run rings around me, man. Other offences Ofcom warns of include the sharing of so-called deep fake pornography, where artificial intelligence, AI, or as he's known, Boris Johnson, is used to make illicit, that's for comedic effect, before anybody says I'm being literal, no, is used to make illicit content from publicly available photographs or videos. Some platforms, including WhatsApp, Signal and iMessage, they haven't got round to, is it Telegram or Telegraph? Some of them have threatened to withdraw from the UK if they are compelled by the Online Safety Act to compromise the securities encryption of their services. It's just, all they're doing is they've got their filthy, grubby little hands around stuff. and they're going to squeeze it. They're going to squeeze all the fun out of your life. They're going to squeeze all the fun out of everything. And yet, when the Charlie Oscar Video 19 inquiry wants their bloody WhatsApp messages off their bloody phones. Oh, I don't know where my phone is. Mr. Prime Minister. And there's the blonde buffoon. I can't access. The more I look at him, the more I think, he looks like Benny Hill. And these clowns are right at the top of the food chain. They can do anything they want, apart from when the 1922 committee get hold of them. Ask Margaret Thatcher. Oh, you can't, she's dead. So, what they're doing is they're just literally going to squeeze it. And then they're going to do it in the name of children. But actually, the people that they want to protect are already protected by their parents. Just remember, the government loves you. Go to bed. Government loves you. Caring, understanding 90s types. And I wanted to, I was going to do 70 or 80 minutes tonight. So I need to tell you this. You know, I've been warning you for months and months and months. Oh, good morning, Adrian. From a dull New Zealand day. There's never such a thing, Lynn Turner, as a dull New Zealand day. Ripper, mate. No, that wasn't very good. But good to have you in the body of the church, Lynn. You'll have to go back and royalty and stuff. And now I'm going to tell you about digital currencies. Because these scum-sucking pond life, the Europeans, who think they're clever, the EU digital identity wallet gets final approval this week. You see, you were distracted by everything and nothing happened. And then you go, oh, well, it was damn squib, nothing really happened, Adrian. Yeah, it did, but you just missed it all this week. The EU Commission welcomes the final agreement reached today, this was Thursday, I think, by the European Parliament and the Council of the EU of the final trilogue on the regulation introducing European digital identity wallets. So it's not, genie's out of the bottle. They're not going back. They want control of you. That's what they're doing. Michael F. Tracy said the UK government ID system is powered by Microsoft. Honestly, we'll be switching that off and on and off and on and off and on to try and get it work. Look what they did with the NHS. I'm surprised they didn't kill millions of people. The NHS had this IT system that didn't work and cost billions. And look, if you don't know, this is how the system works. You bust your buns and you pay your taxes and your national insurance. Have you seen how much your national insurance is nowadays? So you pay all that because then, when you retire, if you get to retirement age of 110 in a few years, then we'll pay your pension. I mean, when I retire, I'm going to retire at 67. I'm going to... Oh, no, Adrian, you can't just retire now. No. So my taxes and my national insurance is paying for the NHS. So what these crooks in clown world do is to get all the taxes in and then they give it to mates. PPE, Michelle Moan, loads of them, give it to mates. Backhanders, thank you very much. So they squander the tax money that they take in from you without telling you, and they'll say, oh yes, we'll give an extra $1 trillion to the NHS, and they've privatised it. If you think the NHS is the NHS that was the NHS when you were a kid, that makes sense. I think I got it right. Think again. I've told you before, I'm not psychic. If I was, I'd be winning the lottery every weekend. But I'm telling you this, the NHS will be A&E, free at the point of contact. Everything else you'll have to pay for. And you have to have insurance for. And you don't believe that's coming? Away, man! Of course it is. They're not going to let you think, oh, the world's ending. Theo Bovril, programmable digital currency with personal digital identity strapped onto it. It's coming. Oh, yeah, Talk 69. It was really funny. Really, really funny. I've got a dear friend staying with us who's Australian. And there was a power outage in Australia a couple of days ago. Ipsos, I think, was the telecoms. So the mobile phones didn't work. The networks didn't work. But more importantly, the ATMs didn't work. And there's Australia wanting to be the first cashless society in the world, in the universe, ever. All the Aussies went back to cash. So they couldn't do anything, couldn't use their cards, couldn't go to the supermarket and buy food. It was a hack. And the Australian Prime Minister's absolutely apoplectic at it. Oh, you didn't, yeah, you were distracted by yesterday. It's not your fault. So the Australians, proper, and somebody said to me, Optus, thank you, Dame Anna. Yeah, Optus. The network went down. Nobody could use ATMs, the hospitals, nobody could go out and buy a loaf of bread, nothing. That's what's going to happen. If you don't play ball, they will control you. It'll be virtually stick their hands down the front of your crackers and they'll squeeze your sphericals hard until you do as you're told. Now, I know you're a willful little character and you're not going to have these clowns tell you what to do. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care if you live or die. They don't care if you get food or can't get food. They don't care how you live. They don't care. Look at what they're doing in America. America's eating itself. I mean, don't you kind of get this? America is eating itself. You've got, yesterday was, what do they call it in America? Serviceman Day or something. We have, because obviously it was victory in Europe, not victory in America. So we have Armistice Day and we have Remembrance Sunday. They have Veterans Day. And the Biden crime family sent the dad out to lay a wreath. And he puts this, I've seen it with my own eyes, my own peeps. Now, if this is deep fake, like the Carnage thing that come out during the week, it was, he just looked at this wreath and you could see he was pedaling furiously with 2 IQ points that he's got left, working out what he had to do. I'll turn right then. And he turned right and went, oh no, that was the wrong one, I'll turn left. He turned left and this is all in his head. He's having a conversation with himself and he's like, oh no, that's the wrong way. And then the officer that was standing there, obviously to make sure he did the right thing, just kind of gently got him by the elbow. And he still didn't want to go. He was like, oh, where am I going? Who am I? Joe who? Am I the President of America? Right, we'll go. It'll be all over the place. It'll be all over social media in the next 24 hours or so. What a fucking joke. Seemingly the most powerful man in the West. He couldn't work out whether he needed to turn left or right or just withdraw gently and discreetly. What? Honestly. So America is eating itself, and so there's Sleepy Joe can't make a decision to save his life. Not to save his life. Have they impeached him yet? I mean, I don't know whether they've impeached his 2 sons. I'm sure they had, but they couldn't do anything about it because now that Hunt has been impeached and the evidence is going to come out. There's the Donald, number 45, with Tucker Carlson. Do you think Tucker Carlson's going to be his vice president? I mean, I know that's like I'm flying a kite here, but Tucker Carlson, he's not even a politician. Are they allowed to have non-politicians as vice presidents? I mean, can you imagine Tucker Carlson, vice president with the Donald, number 45? And so they walk into the UFC. They go to see some fighting with Dana White. So the Donald is going to watch some blokes knock their heads off each other. And there's Sleepy Joe. You can't work out how to back away from a wreath. It's static. It's not going to kill him. But America's eating itself. It's a sideshow to distract you. Told you that before. God blimey. That's Fallujah. I did say I was going to tell you lots and lots and lots and lots tonight, but I haven't gotten anywhere near it because A, you love the stories, and B, there is so much. So I may save a couple of things. ITV's and the doo-doo, proper. I don't think they're going to allow this barrister to publish what the barrister could possibly publish. Don't think it's going to happen. The other thing about Charles and the royal family, so the commentator. Oh, that was it. I was gonna say that to you. What's his face? So it was David Dimbleby. David Dimbleby was doing kind of the commentary for Armistice Day, and I thought, yeah. Do you know who would have been doing that? Hugh Edwards. Where is he? Is he still inside? Have they laid any charges at his door? Has his missus let him out? So Hugh Edwards would have been doing this whole weekend. Cenotaph this morning, Armistice Day yesterday, and the King's coronation, he would have been doing that. He's not done none of those. Does he still work for the BBC? But one of the... I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash. But the person that was doing the commentary mentioned King Charles, blah, 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 and said, oh, yes, the Queen would have been doing this. I was like, no, she's dead. The Queen? And then I thought, he means Camilla. How does that work? I cannot call her the Queen, because the Queen, from core blimey, over half a century of my life, was Elizabeth II, the Queen. Now, there has to be some transition. There has to be. So that the Queen, no, don't call her the Queen. I mean, technically he's correct, but don't call her the Queen, call her Queen Camilla. So then, for the harder thinking, cheers, Scotty, I don't get mixed up. But I had a proper conversation with myself in there going, hang on, Queen's dead. Oh, he means Queen Camilla. I think there should be a transition. I'm not going down that particular route before you start. But there needs to be some kind of period of time where we can get used to the new. And I think they should just simply call her Queen Camilla. It's respectful enough. Don't start calling her the Queen within a year of the Queen dying, when most of her subjects would go, she's dead. Best story of the week? Those two female astronauts that dropped their tool bag in space. And seemingly now it's far enough away from the International Space Station as to not do it any damage. But you can virtually see this tool bag going around in orbit around the Earth because it's bright enough. I mean, you can't make this up. No, I'm not going to be sexist about it. But, I mean, any astronaut that wants to go up to that, I mean, conspiracy theories are saying International Space Station doesn't actually exist. Well, there's a tool bag going around this sceptred globe, and nobody knows how to get hold of it. I mean, they just dropped it. Can you imagine when they land? They come back from the International Space Station. Girls, man, what were you doing? Why didn't you tie to your ankles or something? Oh, forgot. They dropped it. Bag of tools. Do they need the tools? Who knows? I'm sure they won't tell us. But if you look at the International Space Station, if it goes overhead at any point, then trailing behind it is this tiny little spot. It's brighter than Uranus. Do you know? I'll line them up for you. Comedy opening, I'll leave it with you. But this tool bag is brighter than Uranus. Yeah, flat earthers explain that then, yeah. Utter wrong-uns. So there's been loads and loads and loads. I mean, I haven't really gotten to your comments either. There's loads and loads and loads to talk about tonight, but we're just not going to get anywhere near it. We're 80 minutes in, and I need another hibiscus. Oh, let me tell you this. So, keep your eye on 239 hostages in Gaza. I've already made another video for you to tell you what's going on in the Gaza Strip. I've told you how much gas, I've told you how much oil, and I've told you what they're going to do with the Ben Gurion Canal. It's in another video that I hope you've already seen. But there's 239 hostages. What's Bibi going to do about that? I mean, he can't believe his luck that he's in charge when Israel goes to war, because there were demonstrations on the streets of Israel before this kicked off, trying to get Bibi Netanyahu out of office. They'd had enough of him. He was trying to change the judiciary, and the Israelis weren't for having it. And what a gift has fallen into Bibi Netanyahu's lap. 239 hostages are being held by Hamas soldiers. And remember Hamas, the leaders of Hamas, it would be a bit like if you looked at the Remembrance service today, there was loads of former prime ministers. So you would have, I don't know, John Major, B. Lyer, Boris Johnson, Theresa May, and the current incumbent, Rich Boy Sunk. It's like them being the leader of a terrorist organisation. And you can say that, but I can't possibly comment. So they're all billionaires, Hamas. Well, four of them are. Four leaders of Hamas are worth collectively $11 billion. They live in Qatar, don't live in Gaza. But don't be silly. What do you think they would want to live in Gaza for? They've got all the grunts in Gaza doing it for them. They've got $11 billion tucked away in their trouser pocket. Don't see that in the mainstream media, do you? You don't see Hamas in Qatar with 11 billion in the back pocket. No. I've told you before. Little Yasser Arafat. He frittered away hundreds of millions of dollars and put them in Swiss bank accounts that nobody had the details of except him and his head. And when he died, poof, all disappeared. Looks like Hamas were up to the same game. $11 billion. How did they manage that then? When they're saying hospitals are being bombed and this is happening and that's happening. There's 11 billion reasons why somebody should go in and get these leaders of the people that they say they're fighting on behalf of. It's the same as these people in London, the plastic people that are wandering around going free this and free that and you know, free Adrian Allen. Get your fatigues on. Go and grab a gun. Your country's at war. Off you go. Because when this country goes to war, we stand shoulder to shoulder. We don't go protesting because that's for the mainstream media to distract everyone. Don't you get it? They need to get a plane toot sweet either into Lebanon or into Jordan or into Qatar and then just grab a dune buggy and get yourself over into Israel. Or out of Egypt, fly into Cairo, Egypt, Sinai, Gaza. They're not going to do that though, are they? No backbone. No fight. But I'm telling you this. The British people are fighters. They need to be careful. Because the minute they go too far, there's no coming back from it. And if you look at the last set of figures, the last bit of data, where every 10 years we have to tell them whether we're Arthur or Martha and whether we're up or we're down and we're doing stuff. I mean, I was a Jedi Knight at one point on the census. So, look, it's a recognised religion. I'm a Jedi Knight, mate, back in the early 2000s. If there was over 250,000 of us put Jedi Knight, we became Jedi Knights, and I was a Jedi Knight. But in this country, there are 270,000 Jews. There are 3.8 million Muslims. That leaves 64 million Judeo-Christians living in this country, in the British Isles. You don't want to pick a fight with them. Too many of them. And on that cheery note, my name is Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. Next live, don't forget, is, where are we? Sunday, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, as ever. Thank you for your likes. Let's get them over to a past 100 by the time I switch things off, because it does help the channel a lot, so I'm told. And we've got 164 left. Go on, smash the likes, and let's get it sorted before we end the live tonight. And there is bits and pieces. Oh, that's what was I going to ask you? Yes, that's what I was going to ask you. There's still 156 here, so tell me whether this is going to be something that you would quite like. I'm trying to think of stuff to do with Christmas. Look, I know it's November. I know we've just had November 5th and Remembrance weekend. But I'm trying to think of, I've got, and if you've got any kids listening, don't let them hear this. But I did a show for Century 106. It was a lunchtime phone-in, and it was one of the best programs I ever presented. And it was basically Father Christmas talking to kids. And it was just magical. And the other day when I was going through my archive for stuff to kind of bring to the channel for you, I found it. It's 60 minutes of magic. So I'm thinking of, when I can't make one of these lives, of just sticking that up. Now, you can be a grumpy old tart, a complete grumpy wrong'un, and just go, oh, Adrian, shove it up your hairy backside. Okay, fine. But there may be some people that might just find it magical. So we're working on that in the background for you. Just an hour of the magic of children believing in that there's a Father Christmas, and they were talking to him on the radio. Just going to stick it up so you can listen to it, and you can listen to it through the whole of December, because there'll be Christmas radio stations from the end of November, man, from a month out. So we'll stick it up, whatever form it takes. We're working on that. But if you've got grandkids or you've got children that are young enough to believe in the magic, then just play them the magic and watch them, because they love it. Right, I'm off for another hibiscus. Have a fabulous evening. Scarlet Pimpernel, you're funny as. I'll see you Sunday. There's other stuff coming over the next Wednesday. There's other stuff coming over the next few days. And thank you for tonight. Really enjoyed it. I'll see you on Wednesday, 8 o'clock.